Right guys, welcome back to Finch Friday, your weekly golf Q&A, and as always I'm going to go through all your questions, which again there are so many, pick out 5, answer them in order, and then go from there. Well, yeah, go from there. When I go from there, that will be the end of the video. So first up will be a question on the new Wilson Driver and the fact that it's non-conforming, my thoughts on Tiger's new short course which has opened, what you should be looking at if you want to buy a new waterproof jacket this winter, and with the weather as it is, you're probably going to need to. A question on single length irons and if they're worth using, having a go with, and if they're just a gimmick or not. A question on if tour courses are more difficult than the courses that you or I play every day. So this question from Azza4789, thoughts on the new Wilson Driver being non-conforming. Earlier on this year, Wilson did a Dragon's Den of driver design basically, where they had people come in and pitch for the right to design the new Wilson Driver. Now after the show, the Triton Driver, which is called, was put into production, and it's a very technically advanced product. It comes with 2 interchangeable soles, a titanium one and a carbon one, which Wilson say can change launch conditions, how high and low it takes off. It also has 5 movable weights which allow further changes in what your potential ball flight can be, and it also has an adjustable hosel with 6 different options there as well. The only problem is that the USGA have come back and said that the driver is non-conforming in 2 different ways. So first of all, the USGA have said that the sole plate needs to be made smaller by only a few millimeters to make it conform with shape regulations, and the weighting system in certain settings makes the ball stay on the face for a little bit too long, which again makes it non-conforming for the USGA. Now the principle behind the driver versus driver program, which was shown on the Golf Channel, it's quite an interesting one, and it's different, you know, it's not been done before. The driver versus driver concept was a good one, and it's not been done before. It was on the Golf Channel and received some pretty good feedback. But the problem is, according to sources like My Golf Spy, which is a very good online blog, I recommend you go check it out, they've been talking about, because they wanted to shroud the club in secrecy, because the recordings of the show were done much earlier in the year, they weren't able to release proper models to the USGA. So now the USGA have come back and said the products that you give us are non-conforming, but the drivers are already on the shelves being bought. Now apparently what Wilson are going to be doing is sending out new sole plates and new weighting systems to make the drivers conforming. But it is a little bit of egg on face if you do release a driver which doesn't comply to the rules of golf. In many ways though, I would actually say that this probably isn't the worst thing in the world for Wilson, because let's face it, when you're talking about the top manufacturers in golf at the moment, Wilson have slipped by the wayside. And that is a shame, because they used to be one of the top manufacturers. They used to be a go-to name. And for whatever reason, whether it be lack of investment, whether it just be seen as not fashionable, it's a very odd combination to try and put your finger on. They've fallen out of favour with many golfers, and at least this is going to bring them a little bit more back into the limelight, even if it is a slightly embarrassing mistake. So this question from Max Goodgood1. Hi Pete, what are your thoughts on Tiger's new short course? He has recently opened. Keep up the good work. The new course that Tiger has designed in Mexico is at the Diamante, let me just check, the Diamante Cabo San Lucas Resort. And the new course which he's designed there and opened is a short course with 12 holes, or it can be converted into a 3-hole par 3, par 4, par 5 combination. And from the pictures it looks really nice, and it's one of these things where you see a great name in the world of golf starting to look into different business ventures. So he's already opened the Blue Jack, well not personally, but he's designed the course up at Blue Jack National, which has already won awards, and now he's starting to branch out into these different projects as well. And I think we can see in the next few years Tiger really starting to take this career path onward a lot more. Because let's face it, who wouldn't want to play a golf course designed by Tiger Woods? It's the same as when Jack Nicklaus started designing courses. Who didn't want to play a Jack Nicklaus golf course? And it's become the part now where Jack Nicklaus golf courses are seen as very good golf courses designed by Jack Nicklaus. He's a mainstay in the golf architecture game. But with a Tiger course, you don't quite know what you're going to expect yet, and it's more exciting almost, because obviously Tiger is still playing, he's still a current dominant figure in the game of golf. It all depends to see how he comes back playing wise, but it still is an exciting thing to see Tiger starting to build courses, and I would love to play. So, Diamante Cabo San Lucas Golf Resort, I'm available. Question here from Frank38. Hi Pete, I'm wondering, are golf labelled waterproof jackets any better than other waterproof jackets? They tend to be more expensive, but is that justified by the technical advantages? This is a pretty interesting question because you can pick up a cheap waterproof jacket for 20-30 quid and be pretty confident that it's going to keep the water out. The only problem is when you start to play golf and when you're swinging in a waterproof jacket, you want the maneuverability, you want it to be flexible enough so it doesn't feel like swinging in a straight jacket, you want it to be breathable as well so you don't just cook within it. There are lots of different things which go into the design of a top waterproof. I think one thing you will be looking for now more than ever is you want it to be Gore-Tex, you want it to be waterproof, but you want it to be breathable. I am not a fan of waterproofs where you stick on and then within 10 minutes of going out on the course you're desperate to take them off because you're roasting and then it starts to get cold and you've got to put them back on. Not a fan of that. Fortunately, Galvin Green do supply me with my waterproofs and they are really the best in the golf industry, but they are expensive. It is a question I do often get asked about this, is would you be better going out spending 40-50 quid on a decent waterproof jacket or spending a little bit more on a golf specific jacket? Almost missed a word out. And I would suggest spending a little bit of money on a golf specific product, simply because when you are wearing a waterproof jacket for golf, you're not just wearing it to keep out the water. You're wearing it so you keep dry, but also you can still swing. One of the problems when you just get a waterproof jacket which isn't specifically designed for golf is it's not the most maneuverable. Yes, it will keep out the water. If it's a Gore-Tex jacket, it may also keep you cool enough so you don't cook. But for the movement side of things, you want something which is flexible, you want something which you can still swing in. So a question here on Twitter from Gary Strain, hashtag Finch Friday, and this is all about club manufacturers and one length irons basically. So I'm actually currently using the Cobra one length irons, the Pro Forge, and just to give it a go, just to test out the concept, and actually early results are pretty positive. I can certainly get a much higher ball flight out of these irons, and distance gapping doesn't seem to be too much of an issue at the moment, but I've not thoroughly gone through that process. But they feel good, they look good. It's a bit strange when you start getting down to a pitching wedge and it's the size of a 7-iron, but yeah, apart from it looking weird, it performs well. The question that you really have to ask is, especially with someone like Cobra, is would they have brought out that iron if they hadn't have signed Bryson DeChambeau? And I think the obvious answer is no, they would not have brought that iron out unless they'd signed that specific player. But could it be one of those things where it's just a happy coincidence they've actually signed a player who uses one length irons, designed the irons which are very good, and maybe are knocking on the door of a slightly untapped market? Players who want to try something different within their game, this could be a great opportunity. And as I've said, the initial testing has actually been really, really positive. I need to go through more of it and I need to test out those clubs a little bit more. But I think the one length iron market, if you want to look at it like that, is something that can grow. And as always, I would always recommend people try out these different things. Let's put it this way, if you are skeptical of something, if you are a little bit unsure if something is going to work, if you think it's a bit gimmicky, always test it out before you properly slam it or just disagree with it. Everyone's guilty of this, I'm guilty of this as well, of looking at a new product thinking, oh, I don't think that's going to be very good. But the only way of knowing and the only way of having an informed decision is if you actually try it. So I would always recommend, if you do get an option of trying the one length irons, whether it be Cobra, whether it be the Sterling ones, whatever it may be, whichever manufacturer brings them out next, have a go. You'll never know. You never know what you might find. Last question here on Facebook from John Sneed. Are tour courses really harder than municipal courses, considering the size of their greens and fairways? Hashtag Finch Friday. I think there's a few things to look at here. Generally speaking, municipal courses aren't as good as the tour courses. Pretty simple. There are exceptions to that rule. If you think about Bethpage Black, if you think about the old course at St Andrews, these are public courses which are in the top 100 courses in the world, fantastic venues. And there are so many good municipal courses and private golf courses which could host PGA events. But when you're hosting a PGA event, it's not only the quality of the course that you're looking at. You're looking at the infrastructure, you're looking at if you can get grandstands up, you're looking at if hundreds of thousands of people over 4 days can actually access the event. One of my favourite courses in the world is Hillside, which is right next door to Royal Birkdale. And if Hillside had the same amount of infrastructure, if it had the time and it had the energy to build extra room for the grandstands so public can get in and out of the venue a lot easier, they could definitely host an Open Championship. There's no doubt about it. And there's countless examples of courses like that which are very, very high quality and which could, in all fairness, actually be a better visual prospect for viewers and for spectators than some of the PGA courses which are currently being used. So you could be playing at a golf course right now which, if it had the infrastructure, could support a tour event and could actually be more difficult than a lot of courses that they play. It's a very interesting debate, this one, and certainly it's something which I think does deserve a little bit more scrutiny, because there are so many great golf courses in the world, so many fantastic venues which could be used and which aren't, and that is a shame. But guys, let me know what you think. Talk to me. PGA Tour events, European Tour events, name some courses that could be played on that make fantastic venues that other people may not know about. And it'd be good for me just to research different places to go play. Right guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on my other social media platforms as well. And we will see you down here next time.